One of the most important aspects for a music production is inspiration. And here at Weltsound, our main goal is to give you constant inspiration on YouTube, new products. And in this video today, I want to show you some tricks, sound design tricks that I'm working on for some new products. They're going to come online in the shop very soon. And in this video, you're going to get a little sneak peek. It's also going to be from scratch. So we're just going to design one or two sounds today. And you can see what I'm doing, what are the little tricks, and how it works. Okay, so here we are with Serum, my favorite synth to work with, and the one that most of our packs are with also. But there's something else coming. Stay tuned for that. Anyways, I got some drum loops here. They are from the Peak Time Volume 2 sample pack. And you can hear I got a pretty low default sound here. So what I want to talk first briefly is the default patch, because as you see, maybe it looks a little different than your default patch in Serum, and that's because I customized it for myself. And I want to show you real quick how that works, because I feel like this is some kind of a not so much known trick. I think there's not many people out there that know how this works, and therefore let's check it out. So basically what you have to do is you have to set whatever you want to for your default patch. So what I did is I pre-mapped the velocity with the amp, the velocity with the filter cutoff, and the envelope 2 also with the filter cutoff, and I mapped that to micro 1, 2, and 3, right? So basically like this, I can apply velocity over amp, and like this I can apply velocity over the filter, right? And here I have my envelope on the filter. So this is very helpful if you want to, like, if you are sound designing and you want to start quickly, that you have some stuff ready, right? Also, I chose the basic shapes wavetable instead of this default, so I can quickly switch between square and triangles and, right, all the different wave shapes. And my filter is already set, right? All the sound sources are already running through the filter. I just have to enable it. And yeah, this is what I did. So you can customize this in your own way. And now let me show you how to actually save it as default. It's very easy. You just save it as default. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of you knowing that out there already, but my experience is that a lot of people don't know it. So you just put default here, click save, right, in the user folder. You know, this very deep chain going to the user folder. And when you save it as default there, the next time you open Serum, right, it will just open up like this. So this is pretty cool. And now, so there's two sounds. Let's see if we make two. I think so. Two sounds that I want to show you today, two sound ideas. And the first one is working with wave folding. So what that means is that you have a not so rich sound harmonically, which means there are not too many high frequencies, and then you wave fold it to add harmonics, and those are going to be different than the ones that we know from a saw wave. This is not so nice, right? Let's go in solo here, loop that. What are we playing here? It's a long C. So what we could do now is we could switch to, let's say, a triangle or a sine. We can adapt that later. And we don't really need a filter for that. Let's just put it here still, because it's going to be helpful in the end. So this is what it sounds like now. Still pretty low. Okay, so the full trick now is to go here and check out lin fold or sine fold, right? Linear fold, which looks a little bit like this, and sine fold, which is just a little rounder, right? So you can take either of those two, and that's already the basic foundation for the sound. So you can hear it's already some pretty interesting textures that don't sound like they come from like a typical saw or square or whatever, right? And so what I like to do now, And where I want to go with the sound today is apply just a little bit of LFO here on the drive, because what you could already hear is that depending on where we are with the drive, we can see there's more folding happening, and the more folding is happening, the more higher frequencies we get, or the different they are, right? So if we move this around with the LFO, this is very promising for some nice results. So maybe let's go for dotted eights. Love this. We can compare it with a linear fold, maybe. Sounds a little sharper, right? Has some more higher frequencies already, some more noisy kind of feeling to it. So now let's switch to a sine wave, so there's even less harmonic content. And we go back to a sine fold. Linear fold, just a little dirtier. I think for this one I want to go with the sine fold. Let's go a little harder here. This will sound a little weird, but can still work, definitely. So at this point, we can do different stuff. We can also switch once again here and go for maybe a square or a saw. Let's just briefly try it out. Wow. That's cool. Even though we have them filtered right now, if we open this up, it just has a little more of this higher texture. So you can hear, and what you have to understand, let me say that first, what you have to understand is that first we are here at the oscillator, we have whatever shape we have, like less harmonics, a lot of harmonics here. Then we send it through the filter to take away some of the harmonics. And then we add new harmonics with the sine fold. So either we have a sine already, which has no harmonics, so the filter is basically useless, or we have a saw, which has a lot of harmonics. We cut away some of them, so we have still a different thing than a sine shape, obviously. And then we give some new harmonics. So what I want to stay with is the basic shapes, and we can go like this. So I'm setting the LFO to trigger now instead of off, so whenever a note is playing, it just starts from new. I think that's just a little better for this sound. And now, I mean, there's different stuff we could do. Like one thing that I have in mind is having this little bit of could also apply just a little bit of envelope here in the drive. So we go from more harmonics to less harmonics. I'm not too much a fan of the envelope here, so also not on the filter. Let's go back here. And this is a very, very important part of sound designing, by the way. Understanding when something you did is not that nice or doesn't fill the purpose of what you actually want it to be, and just take it away. It's no problem, right? It doesn't matter. You just tried something, it didn't work the way you want to, and now you try another thing. So now to round it out, to give it a little bit more character, I want to add the hyper and play around with hyper a little bit, because what hyper does essentially is add extra voices, make it super wide, and this is very cool for a sound like this. So you can already see that this is the one to be automated over the track. And now what I would want to do, because we already have used the filter for, the distortion for the sound effect kind of, I wanted just to add a little bit of saturation at the end and some EQing. So this is essentially what I would do if it was in my track, right? And maybe what I would also do is go for just a little bit of reverb. It wouldn't have to be on the chain. I would rather use the send, but for now in the video, let's just quickly go like this and add a little bit of a plate here. Go like this. That's smaller. So the next sound, I want it to be complementary, kind of, right? So we have a 2-bar loop here. So what I want to do now is in the beginning, we play one note, and then we could go like, let's say this, this, and this. What's that gonna be? I already have something in mind. I want to show you another nice and easy trick also. So what we're gonna use in this sound is the AM, which means amplitude modulation. So I don't want to dive too deep into what's happening here now, because you are going to understand that very easily just by listening to the sound actually. So for oscillator B, we're going to use a sine wave once again, and we're going to lower the level to 0. So it doesn't actually play, it only modulates, right? We're going to use it as a modulator down here, AM from B, but it's not going to play its own sound. And you can already have a listen. Want it to be mono legato with just a little bit of glide here. Okay, so what's the thing now? Basically now there's still a saw wave playing. What if we add the AM now? Nothing. Why? Why is there nothing happening? Because we have to still adjust oscillator B a little bit, and then it's gonna happen. So what if we move the fine tune up? Oh, can you hear that? It kind of moves up and down. So to show it just a little more obvious what we're going to do before we come back to this pattern. So to make it a little easier to hear what's happening here, what we're going to do before we come back to this pattern is just listen to a long note. And now you can hear it, right? So basically the shape kind of controls the amplitude, right? The shape of oscillator B. And depending on the fine tune now, it's gonna go faster or slower, which is pretty interesting. And what happens if we raise the octave? It's even a little faster, so that's cool. And there's one more super cool thing to this sound now, and this will unfold when we look at this pattern once again, because actually the note value that you play, right, if it's a C1 or a C2 or a D4, whatever, matters for the speed of the modulation. So when we listen to this now, I'm gonna make it a little longer. You can hear this one is kind of fast, then those two are a little slower, and this one is very fast. And this is because the lower the note is, the slower the AM modulation will go, while the higher the note is, the faster it will go. And that's so cool because you don't have to do anything except for playing different notes. I mean, it can't be easier, right? Like if we go like this, for example, let's say we go here, and I don't know, like this. And there we already have the bass for our super cool vibrating kind of sound. So now I'm going to take a little bit of tape saturation. And here we could maybe go with just a little bit of dimension if we want it to be more stereo. But I don't even think that's necessary. I think that's already a very nice sound, and for sure now what we would have to do is play around with the filter and everything. So we could essentially take this, add a little bit more resonance. So those were two sound design tricks, the AM, right, amplitude modulation, and over here we had the wave folding. Two very interesting concepts, and I hope that was helpful for you. This is just a little extract of what's going to await you in the new packs on Weltsound, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna tell you when they're online. And the sounds from the video, get them for free in the description. Just follow the link there. And until next time, I would say have a good time and keep making music.